Governor Nikki Haley says she's not running for president in 2024 if former President Trump decides to run.
He still has a lot of popularity. If he runs again in 2024, will you support him?
Yes.
Donald Trump now has his first challenger in the 2024 Republican race for president, and it's a woman who once called him a great president.
I would not run if President Trump ran.
Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley's jump into the presidential race makes her the first official rival to challenge Donald Trump.
I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president.
The Trump Super PAC spokesman shot back, calling her just another career politician whose only fulfilled commitment is to herself.
Allegations of an affair between Republican candidate for governor Nikki Haley and a political blogger are bubbling up again, this time in a signed legal document.
The 3-page document was signed by a notary Tuesday. In it, Folks outlines an affair that he claims began in early 2007. He says he and Haley shared their first kiss in her SUV outside a Columbia restaurant. He says the romantic encounters continued for several months in her car, in his apartment, and in her State House office.
Commitment 2010 coverage now. A second person is making claims of an inappropriate relationship with Republican candidate for governor Nikki Haley.
This time the claim comes from someone who used to work for another candidate's campaign. A lobbyist, Larry Marchant, claims he had a one-night stand with Haley in 2008 during a conference trip to Utah. This is the second allegation claiming Haley has been unfaithful to her husband.
So right now, President Trump is polling at 53 in South Carolina. You're polling at 22. Gives everyone a nickname. He calls you Bird Brain. What do you say to former President Trump about those charges, Governor?
I mean, look, all these guys know that we're surging in the polls, so they're all starting to hit. But the reality is, I mean, look, the nickname, he's losing it. It's not even a fun nickname. I don't even think it was that great.
I think if you look at Nikki Haley's record, I remember vividly when she was contemplating running for president, when she called Donald Trump and said, if you run for president again, I will not run. So the concern I think that Tucker and many of us have is that you can't believe what comes out of Nikki Haley's mouth.
And this morning, former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, said that he would advise former President Trump to choose Nikki Haley as his running mate.
Mr. President, have you thought about a potential running mate if you were to win the nomination?
I like not to think too much about that. You always do a little bit, but I really don't think it's time. I want to win.
Are you leaning toward a woman?
I like the concept, but we're going to pick the best person.
If I'm elected president, my cabinet, my administration will look like the country. And I commit that I will, in fact, I'll pick a woman to be vice president.
We're going to pick the best person.
I would pick a woman to be my vice president.
We're going to pick the best person.
Just to be clear, you just committed here tonight that your running mate, if you get the nomination, will be a woman?
Yes.
We're going to pick the best person.
Well, look, I think Nikki Haley has to be a little careful in South Carolina. That's her home state. Probably Donald Trump is going to win in South Carolina, and Nikki Haley's going to come in second.
Both Laura Trump and Carrie Lake, who is a very close Trump ally, she wants to be his vice presidential pick.
Bullshit.
But both of them seem to indicate that Nikki Haley, assuming she gets out of the race early enough, would gladly have a job in any Trump administration, possibly even as the vice presidential pick.
You know, she's doing better than, I think, Ron DeSantis in many polls, and I don't know who he'll pick.
Possibly even as the vice presidential pick.
And we've heard her being very critical of President Trump. But again, that's going to be up to President Trump. And I believe he will pick the right person to run with him. And whomever that is, I know that Republicans will rally around and vote enthusiastically for both of them, including myself. I'm looking forward to casting my vote for President Trump and whomever his vice presidential pick is.
Eric Bolling says, well, what about Nikki Haley? Laura Trump responded and said, crazier things have happened. I don't know. I would never say never with Donald Trump. Never say never.
I mean, I'm not here to break any news this evening. I know that'll be disappointing, but the good news, I think, on our side of the aisle, Eric, is we do have such a great slate of candidates. We have really good people on the Republican side, really strong people who are America First patriots. You look on the other side of the aisle, who do they have over there? Man, the well is dry over there. They're
would you ever pick
out.
Nikki Haley? Would you ever, as a VP, would you ever do that?
Crazier things have happened. I don't know. I would never say never with Donald J. Trump. Never say never.
You said that about Chris Christie. almost.
So, Laura Trump says never say never. She said never say never twice. Right? That's kind of the key there. Twice. So she wanted to make a point to say that.
Crazier things have happened. I don't know. I would never say never with Donald J. Trump. Never say never.
You said that about Chris Christie. almost. What do you make of Nikki Haley?
I think she's topped out. This is a tough year to go against a giant like President Donald Trump. We've already seen him prove that he can do the job well.
Here's what Carrie Lake said. First, Bowling asked her, is there a job for, say, Nikki Haley in a Trump administration? To which Carrie Lake said, I would guess the sooner she gets out, the more likely that would happen. But I don't know about that.
Is there a job for Nikki Haley in a Trump administration? Let's put it that way.
I would guess the sooner she gets out, the more likely that would happen. But I don't know about that.
If you're hearing that the same way I am, that's kind of like Carrie Lake saying, you know, I mean, if she were to get out of the race, I think something could be arranged.
So I'm sure she'll do fine. I don't think she has to worry. She has allies, and that'll probably give her a job.
Could the Trump campaign be maybe working behind the scenes with Nikki Haley to cut a deal? Telling her, listen, you get out of this race now. I will pick you for my vice president. Or I will give you a cushy cabinet position, something much better than ambassador to the United Nations.
And eventually these other candidates are going to realize this is a futile effort. They're going to step back. They're going to step out of the race. And I hope that they quickly do that and endorse President Trump. We've got to focus every bit of energy on supporting President Trump and taking down Joe Biden because his policies are killing America.
But you get out. You throw your support behind me. You go become a surrogate for me. You get your supporters to come to me, and we will absolutely play Let's Make a Deal.
And she'll be just fine. But we're not going to be fine if we stay divided as a party. And this is why I think it's important to start to bring Republicans together, coalesce around President Trump.
That's the way I'm hearing this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off base. But politically speaking, it would make total sense for her to do that.
But when you go talk to those true Trump supporters, the Henry McMasters of the world, the current governor of South Carolina, you look at the support that Donald Trump has in the state of South Carolina, Nikki's home state, every elected official in that state, statewide, is supporting Donald Trump because they know Nikki Haley the best. And if you can't win your home
look, Haley's down 30 points in the last poll in South Carolina. We don't have anything new, but the point's well made.
Donald Trump has started to attack me. A couple of days ago at a rally, he said, I don't know what this Nikki Haley surge is all about. Do you want me to tell you what it's about? It's a new poll that came out in New Hampshire. It's got Trump 44, Haley 30. We're surging.
Nikki Haley sort of positioning herself as a more moderate choice for voters. So would what happened last night sort of push those more moderate and independent voters away?
Nikki Haley needs to appeal to both the independent voters that lean blue in New Hampshire and the independent voters that lean red.
No shit, Sherlock.
You know, she has a chance to challenge former President Trump here and come in a close second, if not maybe a surprise first place. You know, she has a chance to challenge former President Trump here and come in a close second, if not maybe a surprise first place.